All right, welcome everyone. It's a new day, it's a new episode of the TED Talk, and it's a new interview with someone from the scene. This time we're transitioning from the broadcast talent side back to the teams, but not quite the players. We're going in with the coach angle, which is something that we haven't done in quite a while. Obviously, there's been a couple cool coach interviews on the channel here before with guys like Monster, with Feed, and so on. And now we have Coolio joining us. For those of you that don't know, Coolio, NAVI Junior, Coach NAVI Junior, that have been making waves. Obviously, this is the Nados Vincier Academy. Hungarian representative as well. So it's going to be really fun to actually show people that Bulgaria and Hungary are not the same country and we don't speak the same language. And yeah, I'm not Hungarian. He's not Bulgarian. What a shock that is. But Coolio, thank you for joining. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. And yeah, I'm not Bulgarian and I'm not Hungarian. I like this. I
Yeah,
get it a lot.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I actually have had people be like, "Oh, I've heard Hungarian is a really difficult language. How come you don't? Can you say something in Hungarian?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Actually, it has nothing to do with any of that." But yeah, you know how we're gonna start the show. I'm gonna ask you a really random question to start it off. Why do you like running? Why do you how do you mentally take running? How is it not boring as hell?
Running, because if it comes to mental health in Counter-Strike, I think it's really important to do some exercise. And I'm hitting gym 4 or 5 days per week, but I also want to focus on my weight and sometimes I eat a bit more and I'm sitting full day as a coach, so I have to run. So it's just I really don't like running, but I must to do it because of my health. That's how I see it.
Okay, so we're starting this episode with a nice message to all the young people out there that play video games or work on the PC. Go and run, go to the gym, eat well. And yeah, running is a little bit boring, but you can still go to the gym. It's fine. So Coolio, we're gonna start it off now. I find it really interesting that me and you are gonna talk here because you are part of this new generation of coaches, right? The younger guys that are just getting into things and are either assistant coaches, analysts, or coaches of academy teams such as yourself. But in comparison to a lot of the other guys that are part of your generation of coaches, you actually have been a professional player before, and you were a professional player for around 8 years or so, if we're counting those early teenage days when you were playing some qualifiers in Hungary. So with you, we're gonna start it off as a player interview, and I'm gonna ask you to tell me all about how you got into Counter Strike, how and when did you get introduced to the game for the first time, and what made you love the game, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So like how I touched the game, like to be honest, my first impression with the game was really bad. Like one of my friends showed me and I said, no, I don't like this game. I don't want to play. And it was like when I was 10 or something. And after I was just chilling at home and the game was downloaded and I just started playing, but it was 1.6 and we were playing paintball and these fan modes, like
Hmm.
kind of Casey, I don't remember that run or something like that.
Yeah.
And after that, I started playing like public servers, and I just enjoy the game. And after I found friends, they said it's possible to build teams to play tournaments, and I was always a guy who likes to do team sports. I was playing football a lot, and I enjoyed playing in teams, so I thought it's gonna be fun. We can try it. We built teams. We were winning, and I was 12. It just felt good to win and enjoy what I do. And after it went kind of more competitive because they asked me if I want to go LAN with them. There in Hungary there was a LAN back then,
Hmm.
and it was like it's biased. You had to take PC with you, and there was a big place and I was 13. We just went there. There was no hotel for us where to sleep. We just sleep with the PCs. We played 3 days, and that was the time when I fall in love in CS,
Oh, you,
kinda.
you
And
slept in the arena where you played.
yeah, I was like
Okay.
13, playing 3 days in a row, sleeping like 5 hours in front of my PC, and
How did your
Okay,
parents let you? Because I know
uh,
if I was, I don't know how it was in Hungary, but in here in Bulgaria, if I when I was 13 had gone to just some place, an internet cafe or an arena or whatever, and told my mom, "Hey mom, I'm not gonna be home for the next 3 days, but don't you worry, I'm gonna be sleeping where I play." I know I wouldn't be going anywhere.
it was hard. It was hard, but like I'm happy with my parents and because they are supporting me always. Like we have a good relationship, so they kind of trust me.
Hmm.
Also, when I was young, they knew that I'm good guy, so they can just trust me and I'm not gonna do anything bad. But back then, when the game started, they didn't think that it's healthy and you should play. But in the same time, they give me space to play and I could do it. But yeah, like first 2 lands in Hungary, it was I don't want to do it anymore in my life. Like, oh, uh, it's just hard. And but it is what it is. They just let me. My father take me there with car after he come back to me, and that's how I went.
Is the LAN culture a big thing in Hungary right now, or was it back then, but it's not anymore? Do you get what I mean? Because you have a lot of those countries. I think, let's say Eastern European countries, most people have actually started playing with internet cafes with LANs, and for a lot of people, that is one of the bigger issues of today's scene, that everything is so online that the LAN culture isn't there anymore. Was that a big thing back then in Hungary, and does it still exist nowadays?
Yeah, it was a really big thing, but right now we have probably 4 lands per year. But it's
Okay.
more like trying to be professional, but it's not. And this one, like what I was talking about, it was just a lot of players come there to have fun, to meet with their online friends, to get drunk, to play the game. Of course, there were some teams who was pretty good. For example, some Hungarians with the best players, and also from other countries, teams were coming like Eshuba and X Status. Also,
Okay.
Frozen was playing in this LAN when he
Hmm.
was 14,
Yeah.
and but this stopped because a lot of problems with that. But for example, back then that was the only way in Hungary how you could show yourself. So that was the point for me. If I want to achieve something in this game, I have to go there and I have to show that I'm able to play at LAN. I can do good damage, and like bigger teams will focus on me. And to be honest, that's how I start my career. I went there as 13 and I did okay in first 2 LAN and 1.6, and after it was CSGO, and in CSGO I was better for some reason. I don't know what was the difference, but it's kind of same as CSGO and CS2. Like there
Sure.
are a lot of players in CSGO who couldn't shoot, and in CS2 they are shining. And it was kind of same for me. And if my first CSGO LAN was like really good. I don't know what I did there, but I was 14 as I remember, and I had one of the best stats, and I thought that some teams will pick up me, but it didn't come. I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, because when I was 15, 14, I felt that I don't get the chance. And a lot of players got the chance, like they got picked up by the best team in Hungary, and I kind of never had this chance. So I'm the guy who had to went through every step. So for example, I found a team after I tried to go a bit better team, and that's how I went up. And in the end, I was in the best team.
Do you feel like Do you feel like 2017 maybe was when you made a key step? Because that's around the time when you actually started playing on Salamander, right? That was there was a couple projects before that, as you pointed out, when you were a little bit younger, but that's when you started playing with guys like Aaron, like Bodito, like Fleeve, those names that I'm pretty sure most people would know, even if they're not Hungarian. Was that the so-called breakthrough when you started playing with those guys?
Yeah, I would say because on that team, like it was more professional in terms of everything. Like in Salamander, that was my first team when I got salary, and I could play full time. So I was doing school after, and I mean, I was doing school in the same time, and I was working, and I could just say in my job place that I'm leaving because I will play Counter-Strike. And at home, it was also a break point because my parents never thought that I can earn some money. Of course, I won tournaments, I won some prize pool, but they didn't know that it's possible to earn monthly salary and just do it as a job. And in Salamander, that was the first time.
You said you were working while you were going to high school as well. Did that how did that affect you trying to actually play and be professional with the game? Because even if you were
Uh,
working on 4 hours per day, this is still alongside school. It takes around, let's say, between 10 and 12 hours of your day. How are you making up the time?
so I was just learning as a personal trainer,
Okay.
and it was only at the weekends and only at Sunday. So with school, I was okay. Like people knows that on Sunday I have to go to school, so don't put any games there because I can't play. And about work, it was just a small job in a hotel. So basically, they asked me if I can go, and I said yes. And other players also worked during the morning, and most of the time I went from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. or something. So,
Hmm.
but not every day. Like if I had official, I could just say I will stay home because I have to do this. So kinda they understand me and they help me also. But if I had time to go work to earn some money, because in the end I have to earn some money, so that's how I did it.
And did you at all times believe, by the way, that things were gonna work out with Counter Strike when you were a little bit younger? Because you say your parents didn't know you could earn a living. Obviously, you did know, but was there a plan A? Was Counter Strike plan A, or if Counter Strike was plan A, was there a plan B? So essentially, was there anything else you would have been doing if it wasn't for Counter Strike?
And that's why I did the personal trainer school because I really enjoyed doing it. And yeah, that was kind of A and B plan. And about Counter Strike, I knew that if some team's gonna take me, I will do my best, and I think I will be able to achieve good things. And in Salamander, finally it happened, and I put the work on it. I think I did good, and luckily I was able to stick with them. And after I had more opportunities, and right now I'm here. But with Salamander, there was some hard period to be honest, because mm, there was a period where they kicked me because they thought I'm not good enough, and they want to change someone, and they thought I am the weak point. And they kicked me at Sunday. I remember. I'm not gonna forget. They just called me, and next day at Monday, 10 a.m., someone is calling me, and I said, "Hello, what's up?" And they said, "Can you jump up for practice because someone is sleeping?" And I jumped practice, and I did like 40 bomb. I played one of my best game I ever did. And after next day, they calling again. Someone is sleeping. Can you jump again? I was like, what's happening in this team? It wasn't like that before. I did the same. And after 2 weeks of trialing someone else, they decided to pick me up because I was just better. And after that time, something changed, and I was just 10 times better player. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything different. I just felt more freedom, or I didn't feel the pressure that much, or I don't know what happened. I felt more trust maybe.
That's so awkward, by the way. It's sorry, but what was that a normal practice in some of the teams in Hungary for people to just fall asleep and not wake up for practices? That sounds. I mean, it's such a. It is nice that it worked out for you, obviously, but is that something that is normal for the scene and for
Uh,
some of the players?
no, of course it's not normal, and I was also, like in my head when they called me that can I play practice, and they are trialing a new guy, like they kicked me because I'm the weak point, and next day they just call me that can you come back and play, and like for example, some players would say no probably for them because they
Sure.
just kicked me and the previous day. But I was at home. I said, "What can I do? I go and help you," and that's how it is. But yeah, of course, it's not normal. Like there was penalties for that, but it can
Um,
happen.
I wonder, by the way, because you said you played football, and I find that there is a strong correlation in what type of an archetype someone is as a player and in Counter-Strike in comparison to other sports and how they are in life. What position did you play on the football field?
I was the middle fielder, like a captain.
Okay, okay. And in Counter Strike, early days, did you want to be an in-game leader? Because I know for a lot of people, obviously, Aaron is Aaron is one of the big names that is the in-game leader of Hungary, right? And Flashie, who I indirectly work with right now, also used to be quite a mind for the game. So did you want to be an IGL at the start, or was it a lot easier in Hungary to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna be the guy that shoots?
Oh, to be honest, never. I never want to be the player what I became. Like it wasn't in my head, but I was always the guy who was supporting the team, and maybe that's the reason why I'm coach right now. Mm, but for example, in Salamander, like there was two Salamander lineup. Like first without torzsi and CMTRY, and after with torzsi and CMTRY.
Mm-hmm.
So when there wasn't in the team, I was a kind of aggressive pace taker, and I liked it. Like that's what I did always when I was young. Just go kill. Like that's what every young player wants to do. And when Cory and torzsi joined, like Aaron was the in-game leader, but I was a guy who was watching demos because that's what they said to me. Like sit down, watch demos. That's how you can improve. Don't play face it. Like try to watch more demos instead of face it and just understand the game better because that's my weak point. And I was a guy who just sit down and watch 10 demos per day because they said I need to improve, and okay, then I'm gonna watch demos. And I remember there was a folder, and in 2 months I had, I don't know, like 1K demo downloaded, and I've not watched fully, but
Yeah.
like a part of it. And like I was bringing ideas every day. I saw new default, new play, and in Salamander we had some problem with Aaron. Like there was a point when we kicked him,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't kind of trust him as an in-game leader. Uh, to be honest, it was one of the biggest mistake I think what happened in the Hungarian scene, because after everything just fall apart, and I regret this decision, and I think everyone, because the Salamander team was so good. But yeah, like that's how I transitioned to this role. And when torzsi and CMTRY come, they put me as an anchor on CT and T side. Like T side, I was the passive lurk, and on CT, I was anchoring. Like basically, I played Rob's position,
Mm-hmm.
i- so you understand it better. And I never played this, and they put me there. I said, like, how can I survive? I had to go. It's not easy. For example, they put me on train B back then, and
Yeah.
I said, bro, it's not possible. And Flashie was telling me, keep jiggling, keep jiggling. And I said, no, it's not my style. If I keep jiggling, they kill me every round. And after I was able to find my style as an anchor, like there was a balance between passive aggressive, and it just worked well, to be honest, after. And yeah, that's how I became in-game leader after.
Was that obviously it's actually gonna sound fun nowadays because CT side you are forced to be aggressive now, right? With how CS2 is, so you are forced to go for fights, but the time when you're talking about, like 2017, 2018, maybe even 2019, being the B anchor on train was actually the worst experience in the world. People think being the B anchor on Mirage is bad. B anchor on train, you were abused every single time. And even now in CS2, it feels like, by the way, it's easier to actually stop the guys from going out ramp. Back then, it was fully abusive all of the time from the T's. How did you reprogram your brain to be a bit more of a supportive player? Because you did actually mention that you've always been kind of like you've been a team player and you've been ready to sacrifice yourself for the team. So was it easy for you to go into being a support straight up and being really passive and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do what's best for the team?
Like I have this mindset, I think, and that's why I was able to do it. Like for example, to be honest, on train, I remember I had Torzsi behind me, so this was our best map, and we find good plays. Like we kind of bring new meta for this map, but overall as a team, like in Salamander, the mistake what we did, like we had set roles, and like these roles are set in stone. For example, Cory was our entry fragger, and he had entry attempts like 80%. No one had this. Like no
80.
one had, yeah, 80. And every round what we did, like if we go B, Cory is gonna be the first. If we go pop, Cory gonna go first. Like every fucking map we did like that. And he was just entering always. But he was so good at it because we knew if he goes out, he will kill at least two. And that was the strong point in our team. And I was the guy, like I was a lurker, but I was just throwing util. And what I felt and why I had these stats, like as a player, like people say it in Hungary and overall that I'm noob, I have bad stats, but I wasn't agree with it. I was just playing for the team a lot of times. Like maybe I'm not the best player at mechanic, but I mean I wasn't. But my role was in Hungarian teams to support them, and we had how you say, like we didn't have the guy who understand the game really good. Like
Sure.
also we had flashie, but he was missing that big experience. He didn't play in big teams. Like we were just trying to learn the things by ourselves. Even we watched demos, maybe we didn't understand some details, so we just played our game. And my role was in the Salamander on T side to throw util. So if we execute, I was throwing util with the upper. But like Torzsi had some moves, but I had no moves. Like I was just
Okay.
doing the util and like a grenade launcher. And if it comes to clutch, I was good at it, and that was my time to shine. If it was clutches, I 1v2, 1v3, I was able to win. And uh, that's all how I played. And if you watch my impact rating on HLTV, I had one of the worst probably because I had no entry kill. Like I never went out first. For real, never. It was set in stone that Cory has to go out first.
I guess there was some teams I can think of other teams that has those fixated roles. Obviously nowadays it just wouldn't work, but back in the days, I think people just assumed that this was the way. If you're an entry, you're an entry, and you're always going in first. Uh, who was? Because you mentioned that you were actually watching a lot of demos because people told you that you needed to. But I would assume you didn't watch only. You didn't just watch the entire game and look at what the teams are doing. I assume you watched a lot of POVs. Who were the people that you were learning from the most for your supportive anchor roles?
Like I was trying to find my style for all maps, so I can't say one specific person because, for example, on train, like no one played like how I did, to be honest, and it was more like trying to get some ideas from them, but it just didn't work, so I had to find out. On Nuke, like I remember I watched Robs because he had insane stats, but for me, no, it wasn't good. So sometimes I watched tier 2, tier 3 players even who was kind of good at this map, and they had like this. If you go down lower tiers, they try to bring new ideas most of the
Hmm.
time, even nowadays, and you can find more plays. But I was just trying to get plays from everyone, and which was working for me, or I felt I'm good with it. I just copy it. I try to do it, and also I watched a lot of POV from my game. So if I position here, it's good or bad. I should have moved faster, slower. I just try to understand what I'm doing good or bad, and that's how. For T side, we had just set rounds. Like I had a paper, like this one with threats.
Sure.
Okay, read. We do this. I have to throw this util,
Yeah.
and let's go.
Yeah. So
So
there wasn't a lot of room for creativity on the T side.
oh no, I had zero.
Okay, okay. It does sound like you guys have really strict captains. So you played on multiple lineups. I'm gonna ask you about a couple people in a couple of the lineups you played on, because you played on Salamander, you played on Budapest 5. Later on, you played on ONYX, on Domination, on Rubik, on all of those teams. Which you said that Salamander was probably one of the best lineups that you had, the one with Torzsi and Cory and Aaron. Is that the best? Hungarian team you've ever played on?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think that was the best team in Hungary. In like, for example, I couldn't name a better team at all. I think probably that's the best Hungarian team in the history. Even though we had these bad things, but right now if we put this team together, I think we could do a really good job. The mood was good, like we liked each other. I think the team is working good if you are sitting with each other every day a lot and you have good mood. And in Salamander, I think I spent full day with them. I just go gym early at the morning after we joined TeamSpeak at 10 a.m. or something, and we just left at midnight. And everyone was there, and we were talking full day. Like, but yeah, the things went wrong with Aaron. We kicked him after we picked Fleeve, and it wasn't the same anymore.
I wonder, by the way, because you mentioned Torzsi's name a couple times, and he is a product, obviously, of the Hungarian scene, even though most people associate him with Mouse NXT. Was it early on? Was there something that was making him stand out instead of compared to everybody else in the Hungarian scene? Like, could you see that guy and say, "Hey, he's either a lot more skilled than a lot of the other opers and a lot of the other players, or his mindset is different"? Was there anything that could give away the fact that he would actually one day make it into big Counter-Strike as a player?
Yeah, I think since first day he joined, we knew that we have problem if they find him because this guy had insane mechanics, insane skill. Like he had problem with communication, like really, really big problem. Like the guy just joined for us and they did some, for example, a nuke. He was in heaven. They did APOP and the guy was screaming APOP, 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 and you couldn't hear anything. He was just screaming. But after we kind of teach him how to communicate, and like he just played insane. Like every game he was dominating. And to be honest, after they picked him for Mouse NXT, I think on Mouse NXT he did good job. But when they promote him to main team, I was so happy for him because I knew he can do good. But I think this is the year kind of when he is able to show that how good he is. And for some reason he couldn't show it on tier one. Like when we played with him, I thought this guy is gonna be top one player one day. Like how he moved, how he shoot, it was insane. And how he understand the situation. Like it when he is in the game, he knows what he has to do. Like he understand everything. Like he is really good player, I think.
That is cool to hear. I mean, yeah, he is a really good player. I think we can all agree on that. Probably one of the best opers right now. But you have played with. The reason I'm asking this is because the Hungarian scene in general. When you actually did spend your entire career as a player in the Hungarian scene, right? You never played on international projects long term. Uh, why was that? Why has the idea of or the thought of potentially playing international Counter-Strike ever gone through your mind? Why did you decide to stick with Hungarians all your life?
Like after Salamander team, my first plan was always to go with international team, but I didn't get the chance, never. Like we had like international roster for Budapest 5, it was working good with Fasher and Mar. Maybe you remember this
Hmm.
roster.
Yeah,
Like I liked it, but when it's international roster and like the organization is not the best, like in terms of salary and stuff like that, like people will go easily for other teams, and that's what's happened there. Like Fasher went for I
Link
don't
B
know,
Vikings maybe. Yeah,
Link Division or some. I don't know what was the team.
yeah. It's
Vikings.
it's Link B Vikings with Bird from Sky. Yeah,
And after Mar also left us, he went some other team. I don't remember, but I never get the chance. And I think like as an in-game leader, after I could do really good job. Like I was like so confident, and I believe myself always that I can do good things. But because of my stats, maybe no one wanted to pick me, or because of like in our scene, like I till nowadays I'm if I read comments or Twitter or something, I can read that I'm match fixer and I'm radar hacker, and maybe I have bad how you say this,
reputation.
yeah, reputation, and maybe that's why no one tests me. But I didn't even get chances for trials, and a lot of players who is, in my opinion, weaker than me in terms of calling. They got the chance and they are in tier one right now. And I always felt and I had it in my mind that if I get the chance, I could be there. But it
Care
didn't
to
come.
drop some names that you think were weaker than you and now we're in tier one, or we don't want to go down that path?
I don't want to go because
Okay.
how can I prove it, And I just feel it in my head like some players got chance a lot of times and I didn't.
Yeah. No, because I do have my opinions on the case and on some people that are in tier one, and I don't think are the brightest. So I was, just interested to see if they were gonna align. Um, how would you, towards the end, obviously, because you did work with most of the big brains in the Hungarian scene, so to speak. You worked with Aaron, you worked with Flashie, you worked with pretty much everyone that you could have. How would you describe yourself as a captain towards the end? Do you feel like you were able to get the best out of all the different experiences and out of all the different IGLs that you had worked with previously?
Like how I describe myself, like I'm the guy who was trying to learn always. And like after years and years, after new projects in Hungarian teams, I just start feeling that I'm un- I'm better at understanding the players.
Mm-hmm.
And probably I became in-game leader so young. Like I think this age where I was, it was like so young to be a real captain because I don't understand the people that good. And when I became 20, I start feeling I understand the people so good and I can build good chemistry in the team.
Mm-hmm.
And like for example, if some teams are running these threats, it's not gonna work. But you need to build it for your own players, like how they see the game, if they are more aggressive, if they are more passive. And I was good at finding the balance. And in my opinion, I'm really good at reading the game and understanding their next move. So that's what I liked in my callings. And for example, there was a game versus Endpoint, I remember. Uh, and after that game, they were saying that we were cheating, radar hacking. And, I was just watching their demos. Like back then, we had no coach. And I was the coach also in the same time.
Yeah.
I was watching demos, I understand them. And I remember on Inferno, until the sixth rounds, we hit sides where was only one player. And they said we are cheating for sure. But I don't know, in my mind, I just understand them, call it, and it worked out. And I think I was good at it. And what I liked in myself as a captain, like I could find the balance between freedom and being strict. Like
Okay.
I always give the freedom to the players. Like if someone say the call, like for example, my entry player said, "Here is a gap, we can abuse it." And I was like, "Okay, if this guy knows that there is a gap, we need to trust him, and I trust him. We make the call, we do it, we will win the round if we believe in him." But in the same time, if I thought that I have better plan, like if I knew we're gonna win the round, if I call this, I just say, "No, you can't do it. Later, maybe we can, but this time we have to do this." And that's how I was an in-game leader, kind of.
Okay. Just to put an end to it, and that conversation before we go into you transitioning to being a coach. Uh, how would you describe the state of Hungarian Counter-Strike right now? Because I think for a lot of people, I guess you can make a similar point for a lot of teams. There isn't too many national teams anymore that are really successful, right? Most are international. But now you have guys like torzsi, you have guys like Slen who's breaking through as well. There's a couple people individually that are making waves by themselves, but in general, I feel like there isn't Hungarian teams anymore that are competing and that are playing to a high level. So why do you think that is? Because it doesn't feel like the stage is in a really good state right now.
I think the missing point is the dedication and the hard work, and that's why I didn't enjoy to be in Hungarian teams a lot of times, and that's why I decided to leave them one point. But I had no other plan, so I just went back because I still wanted to play. If I'm doing nothing, it's better to play.
Hmm.
And like we are really good relationship to be honest in the Hungarian top scene, if I can call like that.
Yeah.
Like we are talking daily. We have a group. We are sharing ideas with each other. We are communicating, supporting each other. But in the end, when it comes to team, I couldn't enjoy the amount of work what they put in, and I think that's the problem. Like we had a lot of talents, and they were just lazy to put enough work in it, and that's why they are nowhere right now. And I'm so sad for it because I think we always had the potential, we had the skill, but we just couldn't do it because of laziness.
Okay, that I think that explains a lot of it probably, and I guess people could say that about other regions as well. It's one of the sadly main reasons that a lot of the countries that are smaller in terms of Counter Strike don't produce as many talents anymore. But we're gonna get into your transition to coaching. So you mentioned that you couldn't find the perfect, let's say, you couldn't find the perfect place for yourself in Hungarian Counter Strike as a player, and you weren't getting too many international offers. Was that one of the reasons that you decided to transition to being a coach at such an early age, or was it more of a I was open to the offers, and then Navi Junior just came in, or Navi Youth at the time just came in, and I was like, you know what, I'm not playing anywhere right now. I'm gonna give it a go. Or were you deliberate on the decision that you wanted to start pursuing the coaching path?
It's a really funny story. I will explain it. Like when I leave this domination,
Mm-hmm.
mm, like I had two offers at this year. I had offer I can talk because it's already over.
Okay.
I can say. So first was Entropiq back then,
Okay.
but it
That
was
that's the
before.
Entropic with Tizian, with NKJ, and NKJ
No,
with
no, no.
Oxygen, or
It's it's before domination. Like it was
okay.
final roster, Morisco, Red, Rutko, some like it's early stage of
Okay, so
Entropiq.
that's the Czech Entropic though. Is the Czech
Yeah,
lineup.
Czech, but international.
Okay, sure.
Like I was doing trials with them. I was doing really good. Like practice doesn't count, like if it comes to score. But on I remember they called me to play prac with them. We play Nuke, and I don't remember which team, but it was a tier 1 team who was really good at Nuke. And my first trial game on Nuke, we had it was in CSGO.
Yeah.
We had 12 rounds in T side, and they had no chance.
Okay.
And after I played more games with them, I was doing good. We beat really good teams. Mood was good. I felt people like me. Everything's fine. And in the end, the reason why they decided to not pick me up because I wasn't calling in full eco. So probably that's not the reason, but that's what they wrote me. I didn't call anything in full eco. That's
They
what they said.
they told you because you didn't give them strict ideas about the full eco rounds, they
Yeah.
don't want you as an IGL.
Yeah. Because if we had some deagles, I said nothing. I was like, it's preg, go kill them with deagle, enjoy some rounds. I'm not going to be strict. And the coach didn't say it. I also always like, if I'm doing everything fine, I have to change something, how I can get better, do better,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to get this position. And it was everything good, And in the end, they come to me that I wasn't calling in Ulico. And sometimes in mid round, when someone was already calling some ideas, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't overcall it. But what the fuck,
Sure.
man? Like, if there is an idea and I think the idea is good, why I should interrupt and why I should do big chaos during the team speak when it's like 30 seconds left?
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything. And yeah, in the end, they choose Red as an in-game leader, and they couldn't make it to advance for 2 seasons. I remember. So
Okay.
that was my first thing with international team, but I was so sad about it because I think we could have done it better than this team what they create in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, after they kicked 2 players, they changed the full team, and in the end they disband, so it didn't work out. And after that was after domination. Like during domination, we had no salary at all. Like, and there was the Rubik. No, like for 1 year there was no salary at all for us, and I was just living from my saved money what I earned from previously. And there on Twitter I just saw a post that GamerLegion Academy is gonna be a new thing, and you can fill out a form to be as a player. And I think I was 22. Yes, I think I was 22. And I was like, in-game leader 22, why not? I can try it. I can't lose anything. And instantly after I sent this form, the coach was LVN was contacting me. They really want to try me out. I'm the first priority for this team. I was so happy, like finally some teams maybe I can show myself. I was playing with them. I built a team with LVN kinda. I was playing 2 weeks with them. They said no one else can change me. I'm the best. Like they want to sign me.
Okay.
I was playing 2 weeks with them. We were playing tier 1 teams again with this academy. And it was working insanely good. I enjoyed to play with them. And I think everyone enjoyed to play together. And my agency came to me. They will send the contract tomorrow. We can sign it. Everything is fine. After that, I was waiting this day to sign the contract finally. My agency just typed me, they decided to not sign you. And I asked why? Because you are too old. That's what they said after 2 weeks of trialing and building a team.
But that is, I mean, because you were 22 at the time, right? Because I'm
Yes,
trying to that is the lineup with Leaf, with Andu, with LVN. This is the first academy
yes, yes.
project of Gamer
That was
Legion.
the first.
And how did you feel about it? How did you react to you being told you're essentially at 22 years old, you're too old to be the captain of this team?
I don't want to say the word what I said after here, but I just didn't understand. Like, what's the point to have me for 2 weeks trialing with them to build everything with the coach to make everything work to find the right players, and we were doing good. And after they just say to me, "You are too old. Sorry, we are trying to find someone who is young because we don't need this old guy." And after that, they couldn't find in-game leader, and they just decided to go with Leaf as an in-game leader who
Yeah.
had zero experience as calling. He was typing me also that he will try to steal my things what I was calling. I remember, and I was just full lost. I felt so bad, to be honest.
And was that when something broke in you and you were like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to try and pursue a coaching career? Because soon after that, you actually joined Navi for the
Uh,
Navi Youth project, right?
After that, I kind of lost my trust. I thought it's over for me in Counter-Strike because if I'm old at 22 as an in-game leader, then it's something definitely wrong in this world. And after I was trying to find a job outside of Counter-Strike because
Okay.
I had to earn some money, and I went for a day in a hotel again. But after that day, I just realized like no, 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 I'm good at this game. I can be coach. I will try to find a job as a coach. And after after that on Twitter, I saw Navi is posting that they are looking for a coach for the youth team.
Mm-hmm.
And Flashie was already in the team. And I asked him, "Do you think it's a good idea for me to try as a coach? Because I feel like no one believe me as a player, and I'm old, and no one's gonna pick me." And he said, "If you think that you can do it as your best, then just go for it." And I said, I was kind of a coach when I was player, so why not? I can try it.
Sure.
And I feel I fill out the form, and I got into the team, and that's how I transitioned to coach. But in my head, right now, still like even though I'm doing good job and I enjoy doing it, I still kind of wants to be a player someday.
It still lives in there. I mean, it's
Yeah,
I guess this is completely normal, and I think it's a drive you never lose once you have it, and even for guys that have played professionally for a couple years, even on tier one level, that have won trophies and quite early in their life, let's say, give an example, let's say is Chewy, for example, who fell off from tier 1 when he was around what 24, 25. I think even if you have achieved something, when you have wanted and loved something so badly like professional Counter-Strike, you never get over it. That's at least my perspective on it. um
and sorry, like
yeah.
for example, what was making me sad, like if I get this chance for Gamer Legion,
Mm-hmm.
as an in-game leader. Like I think right now maybe I could be in GamerLegion instead of ZTR because they kicked Snacks and they had no option to pick someone from the academy team, but they picked Andu from that team. And if I would be there, and if I do good job, it's just guessing. Maybe I wouldn't do, but maybe then they just go for me instead of picking up ZTR, and then maybe I could be in GamerLegion. And these things are in my head, and it just feel bad sometimes.
I get it. And are you that type of person that doubts things like that sometimes, and you're thinking about all the ifs, buts, and maybes, and you're like, you know what, I might be happy where I am right now, but imagine how much better it would have been. Are you that type of a guy?
Mm, I just have it in my head, but I don't care that much.
Okay. Okay. You are happy with where you are right now, is where we're getting.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
are
I have
happy.
to. I have to. I have to. Like I'm trying to say always, like even though if I wouldn't be here, but I can do what I like to do and what I love to do, and I can earn money from it, I have
Mhm.
to be happy. Like if we lose some games and I'm tilt, I'm always saying myself, like I can't be tilt. I'm doing what I enjoy to do, and it should be a dream.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about Navi right now. You get into the org. Obviously, Flashy being there, I guess, helped you with some of the, having a person on the inside, so to speak, to make the transition a little bit easier for you. What was the way for you to deal with actually working with those young guys, those? Because you joined Navi Youth. I mean, now on Navi Junior again, your oldest player is 19, so still they are really young, right? They are
Yeah.
teenagers, but on Navi Youth, you were working with some of the same people, but even when they were younger. So let's say between 14 and 16-year-old guys. Uh, how did you deal with working? What is the right approach when you're working with those types of young people? Because you are not only forming them as Counter-Strike players, but in a way you are forming them as people too, right? When you're their coach, when they're that young. So how did you deal with that situation?
It was so hard, I can say. Like I think the first day is always hard
Hmm.
if you do something new. And without saying too much secret or inside, like I just got informed that I need to teach them what you said, kind of like being a person,
Yeah.
teach them the default, like teach them everything. And I was sitting at home. First day is coming. What can I do? Like, how should I start the day? Like, it's just hard because I had no info about them. Like, how good they are, which level they are. I had zero idea. And we, we just joined TeamSpeak. We talked. We said, "Hey, how are you?" We just say our names, try to get understand each other a bit more to get know. And after we went up server, maybe second day, we start with Mirage. I remember like nowadays it's kind of meme in a team. I was like, okay guys, we're gonna talk about defaults. Like here is the window smoke, how you can do it. And like I these guys said, what is this guy trying to do with us? Like this guy thinks we don't know how to smoke window. And I was like, fuck it guys. We stop it here. I search for practice. Show me what you can do.
Yeah.
And without saying anything, I just search prac. They played, and I understand instantly where we have to change. What's the level they are? Of course, it's different levels. Some of them are better, some of them are worse. And uh, yeah, after I kind of understand how it should be done, and basically I just build everything. Like I had to build a game plan for us, how we can play as a team. I understand the players, like who, for example, when I joined, they said which roles they want to play
Okay.
on the maps, and I said no, guys, it's not gonna work because you are not that type. Like I'm kind of, I feel like I good at understanding players, and
Sure.
I transition them to other positions because I said, okay, you want to do this, but you are not speaking at all. So how you want to be in as a vocal player if you are full quiet? And they said,
Hmm.
oh yeah, you are right. So I put him in this position, for example. And after that, like for me, because it's like academy, and when it comes to 15 years old players, a lot of problems with understanding the game. Like all of them were shooting good. Like I had no problem with shooting, but I had to teach them like to have better knowledge, and it takes a lot of time. But I think I did good with youth also. That's why I got promoted to junior,
Hmm.
because we were playing good at this, what's the league? United 21
United 21, yeah.
Division 2. Like we won it in the end. Like that was the last thing with youth, I think. Like, and I think in the same time we were playing some tournaments and we were able to beat good teams. And a lot of times on practice we beat junior, and it was like a, how you say this, like we had to win this practice, you know. We didn't play for practicing. We both teams
Yeah,
just,
you played for honor. You played for
yeah,
honor.
yeah.
You wanted to show
And
them that you're better.
yes, and sometimes the organization also joined to watch like how we play against each other, and I can say we beat them like 4 or 5 times and they just beat us once or something.
Okay, that is it is a fun experience. I wonder, was language barrier an issue there? Because when you joined, I think that was the beginning of Navi deciding to actually go international with some of the youth and junior projects. Because before that, it was mainly, well, not even mainly, but only Ukrainian, right? For all the players and or the majority of the players and the coaches and whatnot. So I assume a lot of the guys on the team as well didn't have any experience speaking in English. You had some, but not as a coach. So was there a bit of a weird dynamic there before you started actually getting along and knowing what you're explaining to each other pretty much, or understanding what the other person is explaining to you?
I think it was fine because like I also don't have the best English, I would say. Maybe I can speak good. I understand everything, but sometimes I don't have the words and I don't know how to say it.
Sure.
And that was hard period in the beginning. Right now I think I improved a lot, and also everyone. But because we had kind of broken English as a team for everyone, I think it was good because it creates kind of good mood, because we were laughing on each other, like how you say this and
Okay.
how you pronounce the words, and it was fun. But for me, why it was harder and for them, because I really wanted to get into as a personal stuff, like more mental things. And in this topic, like these guys didn't really understand the word. So we were opening translator. I type the word, we type, and that's how we kind of learned English better. And but nowadays, I think everything is fine. But we still call in our team that we have NAVI Junior English. You know, like we have some meme how people were saying infos, and we still do it. Like for example, I can give you
Yeah.
one thing. Like Cemetery was saying like too a lot, guys, too a lot, man. You know, like he wanted to say like they are heavy there, and he just say
Yeah.
too a lot,
Too a lot.
and we are still using it. It
Too a lot is
it just
excellent.
it's just in our head.
Yeah, yeah, it does sound excellent. Is that because you pointed out you wanted to focus a lot on the mental aspect of it? Is that one of your main focuses as a coach? Would you say that you are really comfortable with having those conversations and you are putting a lot of emphasis on that?
I think I'm kind of balanced, because what we play as a team, it's kind of my job. Like I'm bringing the ideas. I have me as a, like for example, my in-game leader is kind of doing what I ask for him to do. Of course,
Okay.
he is like Krabeni is bringing things, and everyone can. Like I'm open. Like if someone wants to do something, I'm open. So they can bring, and if it's good, if I think it's working for us, if it fit our game style, they can bring. But I'm trying to be also kind of friend with them, but I'm also an annoying guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times I think they hate me because I'm trying to be strict with them. And if something goes wrong, there are bad talks. So I don't like to do it. I think no one is enjoying it, but I have to do it. And for example, if someone is underperforming, we have a talk, you know, in one by one talk, and we point out the mistakes. And I'm trying to, like what I ask from the team and how I see, like, I'm trying to be like open-minded and trying to be honest. I think this is one of the key. Like if someone feels something, like if you don't like this guy, say it, because we are in a team, and if you have some bad feelings about someone and it will be in your head, it's gonna put us in wrong situation. So we have talks, like we sit as six on TeamSpeak, and I just start always, if you have some problem, say it. And we are trying to talk like open. And I think this is a really good thing at this young age for these guys, that they were able to learn that we are honest with each other and we can fix the mistakes. Like a lot of times it fixes a mistake because yeah, they want to change something. Like he don't like how this guy is running. He don't like how he speaks. And
Mm-hmm.
we just sit, we say, they understand, we work on it, and it's gonna be good. So I'm trying to work on, like, as a gameplay, as a friend, as a mental guy. Like basically I'm a dad, you know. I feel like I'm a dad.
Yeah. I guess this is the vibe. Even though you know what, it is really weird because I actually looked it up. You're only 1 year older than me. We're basically the same age, and hearing someone my age say I feel like I'm a dad makes me feel old as hell. But you
But,
can't be
but
you
I'm
can't
not.
be a dad in Counter Strike without being old, really, right? Because 20 25 years young, I guess, is the way to go with it. But or 24 still. Um, Talk to me a little bit about building that Navi Junior lineup that you're working with right now. Because initially, when you joined Navi Junior, when you did get promoted from youth, the lineup looked a little bit different to what it is now, and there was a lot of players that came in, went out, came back in. So talk to me a little bit about that. Obviously, when you joined, Krabeni was already in there, and he was transitioning to being a captain. So was one of the main focuses just establish a good connection with this guy because he's the IGL, and see we can work together, and then we're gonna figure out the rest of the team later.
So basically, when they said to me I have to be the coach for junior, they told me I can decide which player I want to keep. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
no one had like a fixed position, even
Okay.
Krabeni. Like I was running trials with them because I wanted to understand everyone. Like I had vision about my players. I knew who I can pick and who can be good for junior, and but I didn't have any info about Krabeni, Makazze, and Magic, and the rest of the players in the other lineup. And I was sure that I had to bring Jukes and CMTRY with me. Mm, and also Frozik was a big prospect of Navi life. Like he was in the team, and I don't remember in the end how was it, like I forgot. Maybe Demon was playing with us in youth also,
Yeah,
probably.
the first Navi Junior official that you played with a team, you're gonna tell me if that's the one you decided to go with, was Dux, Frozik, Cemetery, Krabeni, and Demon. And Demon was in youth with you. Demon went in junior, back to youth, back to junior, back to he did that a couple times. So I'm pretty sure
Y-
you probably play with him on youth as well.
Yeah, because he didn't enjoy to play in junior and he wanted to join us because he thought we are better, and we had problem with QZR, and I wanted to have Dima instead of him. Yeah, that's how it was. I
Mm-hmm.
remember now. And so yeah, in the end, I was sure that we need Demon, Jukes, and CMTRY from my team. Like I was 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
And about Frozik, like he had bad period, but now we trust on him a lot. Like because he was with them since he's 12 or maybe 11, I don't remember. So
Yeah.
we wanted to give him the chance, so we promote him in the end. And I was testing kinda Krabeni and Unbroken for in-game leader. In the end, I just enjoyed more Krabeni. Like it's long story, but that's how I felt, and I had to change. But also, I had good relationship with Unbroken, but in the end, I felt Krabeni is the right choice. And about Makazze, we knew that he is good, but we wanted to give the chance for Frozik, and we start playing. To be honest, it was working good. We won, we lose. but we had problem with Frozik performance. Like he wasn't the best at this time in his role. And in the same time, Makazze was fully grinding Face It.
Mm-hmm.
He won the season. He qualified FPL or he won FPL. He had insane stats. So I was watching him also in the same time. But in the end, it wasn't my decision. Like Frozik decided to stop playing Counter-Strike. So I had to bring Makazze in the team, but I was so happy because I knew that Frozik is kinda not performing and Makazze is shining in Face It. So I was like, maybe we have a lot more firepower and this is the thing what we need to have in the team. And that's the final lineup. Like I bring Jugs, Demon, CMTRY, and I choose Krabeni, and after Makazze joined to us. And yeah, that's the time when we start grinding the CS for real.
How would you say was the, because you said that you had your, I guess, thoughts about whether you had to pick Krabeni and Broken, see how things are going with the in-game leader choice. What'd you think of Krabeni early on? Because he wasn't an IGL back when he was playing in the Kosovian scene before he came over to NAVI Junior. So do you feel like, because there's a comparison I like making, I look at him, and because he is from the same country, obviously, I'm like, it's like looking at a 19-year-old version of Synopsy, almost, in a way, right? Is that in-game leader that looks like he would be a really emotional, really loud person, and he's really aggressive in the server as well, and that's why he actually is good on calling on the fly, because he's a really proactive player. Is he that type of a vocal in-game leader?
Like basically, I picked him because I enjoyed. Like for me, one of the big important thing is the mood. If the mood is dead, it's GG. You can't
Mm-hmm.
have good team, in my opinion. And with Krabeni, we had more fun, and the players enjoyed to playing more. And this was one of the main thing. And the second, that when we did trials, I wasn't doing anything. I was just chilling and trying to watch them, how he can call. And he was calling a lot from freeze time. Like he had really good ideas. Like he built up a round in 10 seconds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that because I knew that when it comes to officials and if I can't talk during the game, or like right now in online games I can talk, but I don't want to talk during the rounds because it's gonna be more chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this guy is able to micromanage a lot, and I think this is a really good ability you can have, because there are some situations when you have to micromanage, and he was able to do it. He was calling a lot of things like from freeze time, so we had nothing. We joined server, and I told him, you can explain few things what you want to try today, so it's not gonna be like you are talking without stopping and you can just keep talking. So he explained few things, but when we joined to server, he was calling more and more, you know, from freeze time. And I like that he has a lot of ideas and he bring a good vibe to the team. Like back then, he had only one weak point, if I have to say that,
Mm-hmm.
is he was stop calling when he died, and I
Okay.
didn't like that because when you are in-game leader and you are aggressive and you are in spectator, you can see the game better. Like you can click during player's POV and you can have better ideas. And sometimes he just died and he was full quiet, but we fixed it. Right now he's talking. So yeah, that's why I choose him.
Okay, that is it is an interesting perspective to have. And one of the, I guess, a couple extra things that I want to know about, because there is some recent news that I want us to discuss. But uh have you had the, because obviously you know Flashie and you've played together before. Back in the day, academy teams used to actually build their teams around the main team and try and copy a lot of the play style, try and pretty much fill in the youngsters so they can one day replace some of the main players if need be, right? And play a really similar style of Counter-Strike. So that would mean that the coach of the academy team would work a lot with the analyst and with the head coach of the main team. In your case, Flashy and obviously Blade. Uh, but it kind of feels like, well, it doesn't feel like, they are different. The Navi Junior team and the main Navi team are completely different in the way that they play. even if you want to start from the fact that Krabeni is one of the star players on the academy and he's the in-game leader, and then you have Alexi B, who's not necessarily a star. So has there what is the better approach in your opinion? Does that mean that do you prefer building a team like Navi Junior where it kind of feels like you're building the team for the sake of this being a functional team and not as much about being the second team of the main team? Or you'd say that under other circumstances it would be better to actually have the academy be the direct copy of the main team?
Like how I see, a- as I said previously, I think if you want to copy something fully, it can't work. So we tried in the beginning when we just played practice and we didn't play official. We put Krabeni on position where Alex Tib is playing.
Yeah. So you have
But just
Krabeni as the BAPS player on Mirage.
but just try to imagine, like you know how he plays,
Yeah.
and I guess who will watch this episode, they also know how
Yeah.
Krabeni plays. We put him there, and I was like, no, it can't go like that. If we keep playing like that, it's not gonna be good. Because I had to put players who wasn't talking in the middle of the area, and on
Yeah.
city side, if you are playing con and you are quiet, you can't play con. It's just not for you.
Yeah.
And
It's like putting the quiet guy in cave on Ancient, for example, as well.
yeah, it can't work. And after we had to change, and I had the permission to build a team how I want, but
Hmm.
of course my goal and what I should achieve to build good players and just put them good understanding of the game. And I think it doesn't matter where you play. Basically, if we are doing theories together, reviews together, you kind of like if you're a player, you will understand how you should play on B also. Even
Yeah.
like it's only about mechanics. Maybe you don't know how you move, how you position, kind of, but the main thing you will understand, like what you have to know. And
Sure.
I just had to put Krabeni on the middle of the map on every parent city because he is the guy who is talking always. Like he has to be in position and he is so active. Like a lot of times he is more active than I want. And we have a lot of conversation about him because this guy is just speaking everything and sometimes I don't really like it, even
Yeah.
though it works.
Yeah, I guess when you're a coach, that's the weird thing, right? Because when people are watching the game and they're like, if something works, it works, so it means it's good. But for you as a coach, you don't think like that because you're looking at the game and you're like, well, he just broke that smoke and called for a flash and went for the fight. He killed 3 people when we win the round, which is good. But I know he's gonna do it again now because it worked the first time, and he's gonna lose us the game if he keeps doing it because people are gonna punish. So I guess it's one of the stressful parts about being a coach of young and flamboyant and aggressive players that actually make plays that work sometimes because it's difficult to control at times, right?
Yeah, I think we have kind of more problems in mid round than late round because like we have players who wants to move always because they cannot just sit in their ass and wait. Like if they stand up from the PC, we could have win games a lot easier sometimes, but we are still searching for duels and fights and we just give the other team chances and they find the kills and sometimes we win the round, sometimes we lose. It depends on a lot of situation. But yeah, like in like to beg for your question, like I just try to build a functional team, how you said,
Mm-hmm.
but in the same time, I like we have a lot of things from Navi basically. Like
Yeah.
it's not like I'm talking with Blade every day. Like I'm talking with Flashie every day, but it's because we are friends. So it's not
Sure.
always only about game. Of course, if I need some help, some question, I can also ask Blade, and he is helping us. So I have connection with him. But I'm not gonna be that guy who is going to Blade and tell and type him every day how to fix this, how to fix this, because he has a lot of work to do, and I don't want to bother him. But yeah, if I need some help, if I'm fully out of ideas, I have the option to go to them. And as a team, yeah, like I just try to build a good team because like right now, since this VRS is a thing, I think you should have a team. Like just look at the Mouse NXT.
Yeah.
Like they just kick 3 players because they are not able to play any events. And I think it's kind of bad for academies, this system. Like for us, it's good, of course, because we are top 38. We can
Yeah.
get any invites what we want. But what can I do if my players are gone? Like what will I do? Like how can I play tournaments? How can I
It's
put
kind
them
of
in
like
officials?
what people think Spirit Academy are going to go through soon, right? Because some of their contracts are expiring, and when Alcaran and Kioski leave and all of those guys leave, they lose the points. How do they get back into actually playing events? They just play open qualifiers in ECA.
Yeah, and if we just play practice, it's not gonna be the same. Like it's never the same. Like you are just practicing things, but when it comes to official, like it's more pressure. You need to have a game plan. You need to do it. You are trying to outplay them on practice. You are just trying to fix your mistakes. So
Hmm.
I can't build good players only from practice. They have to play official, and we have to go through a lot of loses to improve from it. So yeah, basically I just build a good team. I think a really good team, to be honest, and I don't think we are a academy anymore.
Okay, that it does sound logical. Navi Junior right now technically is one of the best performing academies ever. When you put it on a global scale, I guess the two Mouse NXT iterations, the first one that got promoted to the main team, and the one with Krisen and PR and A2 are the ones closest, and obviously Spirit Academy. But there hasn't been a lot of academy teams that have been able to play that competitively for sure. Um, the one final thing, I guess, that I wanted to ask you about, because you guys have been playing really well so far this year. You've been grinding. You've played 87 maps, I think, as we're recording this interview on the 19th of March, which is quite a lot for, again, an academy team. You are participating in every single tier 2 event that you can. You're having good results. Out of the 6 events I think you've played and concluded so far this year, you've been able to make quarterfinals or semifinals in 5 of them, which is a great, I guess it is a great result for a team like that. Do you feel like there is some type of a mental barrier though? Because you haven't been able to make grand finals yet, and quite rarely actually make semis. So it kind of feels like every single good team from the tier 2 space plays you in group stages, you can clear them, but then it goes into playoffs and you do lose against some teams that you actually beat before that. So do you think that this is a bit of a mental issue maybe, or a mental barrier, so to speak?
I think we have some like overall as a team. I think mentally we are really strong and we are fine
Okay.
because if you look into the scores, like when we are losing, we are able to come back. For example,
Mhm.
yesterday we played Parivision. It was 9-3 for them in T side on Dust, and we make it to overtime.
Yeah.
So I think we are not the team who gonna give up, and we are not scared to do things. So I think we don't have that. Like for example, we play group stage, we are more aggressive and we are willing to peak more. No, in this team we will peak always. Like, and I think
Okay.
that's kind of one of like we have problems with decision making, and but it's because we are like the players are still young, and I think it's harder for them to adapt and fix that because they have this person like personality and it's hard for them to adapt kinda.
Mhm.
And a lot of situation like we are just rolling around that like I can name few games when they beat us because they played better, but most of the games what we lose, I think it's not because they beat us, we just beat ourselves.
Okay.
Like for example, this PGL qual, it was 1 week ago. It is in my head. Like we played against OG, we won the first map, and on second map we we lost a 5v3, we lost a full eco, we lost a 3v1, and because of that, it like in the end we lost 11-13 as I remember, or
Mhm.
some really close game. But if these rounds are not happening, like we have to cover 3v1s, like we can't lose it. And because of some decision making, like individually we lost the round. And because we lost the round, next round maybe we have eco and it's already 2 rounds. And I think that's our problem right now. Like we have more problems on CT side because on T side we have kind of really scripted game. Like we have protocols, we understand how we gonna approach the round. Like even though we are really aggressive, I think we are doing it with really good logic. Like
Sure.
It's a lot of times anti-strat. We are understand where they are weak. We understand how they gonna feel. For example, on Ancient, like if you look into our demos, like we did B rush a lot of times in the first buy round.
Yeah.
And why we did it? Because I just understand that they are not countering it, and we
Yeah.
did it. And after I try to understand how they're gonna rotate and adapt on the map and what we can do. And yeah, we are playing really aggressive, but I think there is the logic behind. So on T side, I think we are really good. We are good with moves, with decisions individually, like we are taking space when we have to and stuff like that. But on CT side, we don't feel that. Like that's what we are trying to improve and work on it, because it's just solo decisions. And on CT side, like we have to be proactive, but we are not able to understand when we should slow down, stop it, and just let them come and kill them. So I think that's kind of the problem. And for example, also like second big thing what we have to look into it is our schedule. Like
Okay.
when we play this PGL, like in 4 or 5 days we played 13 BO3s, and there was a day when we played 3 BO3s in one day.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to focus and make the right decisions always. So of course, because if you wake up at 9 and you have 10 a.m. game, you have 3 p.m. game and 7 p.m. game for the last game, how you can focus and how
Yeah.
you can control everything. So we knew before we joined to the game, we discussed like it's gonna be mistakes, like there is gonna be mistakes, but it doesn't matter. Like we can't just think about it. We need to go next round and do our best, and it will be how it will.
I guess it is one of the main issues that everyone is going through, and with the VRS now, it doesn't feel like you can actually miss tournaments, and you can miss chances, so you're pretty much forced to play all of those events. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, which obviously is a bit of a it is a bit of a shit show on what is going on with all of those news accounts and journalists, insiders on Twitter, and people that are just I guess trying to leak some things and making things up that doesn't exist. But the reason I wanna point this out is not because it's not because of the news itself, because it was determined that CMTRY hasn't done anything wrong, and everyone that is watching this probably knows what we're talking about. It was admitted by the account that posted it like 1 or 2 hours after there was the supposing league that Cemetery had done something wrong, coming down to either cheating or match fixing or whatever, which the account apologized for, and it was obvious it wasn't the case. The reason I'm mentioning this is because we're talking about the mental state of a young player who's aspiring to do great and still has a little bit of pressure on his shoulders because he's representing one of the biggest organizations in esports. How do you control that situation when you are the coach of the team, you are the father figure, as you said, for a lot of those players? When those news come out, even when it's obvious it's not true, even when the statement comes out 2 hours later and it says, you know what, that was false, my bad, from the person that posted. How do you make sure that doesn't influence the young player on the team that was mentioned in the case? And this is I'm using the specific example just to make it an easier situation to imagine, because I would assume that this is something that you have to go through quite often with young players, right? Making sure that they don't get affected by either people that are typing things in Twitch chat or HOTV forums or Reddit or messaging them privately. How do you keep those guys isolated from the noise like that, and how do you protect them from actually being harmed by all of those things that are going their way?
Like I think it's the cemetery things was like nothing special for us, because since we are playing with this team, and like for me it's kind of easier to teach them because I run through the same thing
Yeah.
all through my career. Like I got always that I'm match fixer, I'm radar hacker. I knew I'm not like peop- I can say it, but people will still think that I'm doing it. But in our team, we just trying to make jokes about it. Like if you open HLTV Twitter, you will see that some idiots are typing like Radar Junior, 322 Junior, whatever. But these guys are no one. They are just addict of betting. And I think how you should think in your life, like you don't need to take something serious if this guy is nothing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, if someone is saying bad about me and I have respect for this guy, I will think about it because probably he is right. But if some no one guy is posting something that or typing shit like you are playing bad, you are dog shit, you are not
Yeah.
able to play in this team, you are underperforming, you don't need to take it seriously because this guy don't know nothing. Like he is not with us on TeamSpeak. If he did a call, like for example, Viraj B in this round, you don't know who called it. Like I
Yeah.
could call it, Krabeni could call it, even some players could call it, and in the end we know whose fault is it. But
Mm-hmm.
if we trust in it and we do it together, it's the team fault. Like no one did it alone, you know. Like
Yeah.
that's how we are trying to think about it. And about this cemetery citation when they post it, like the problem with it, if you post something negative, like, and this was really negative thing, and it affect you as a, like your reputation will instantly go down.
Yeah.
And if you watch like the impressions of this post, the first one was like 2-3 times more than the
The
normal
apology
post.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how the lives work. Like, but in the end, I'm always saying the negative posts and things are give you more followers and more hype. So you need to prove them wrong and make it for you to have more followers. And I think Cemetery got a bit affected because of that. Like he felt so bad about it, but I think it's already gone and we are not talking about it. We just try to make it as a joke. And we knew that it's fake. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a long story, but we knew it's fake. And like now we still trust him. We have the trust. We knew he didn't do it, so everything okay.
That is really nice to hear, and it's nice hearing it come out of your mouth as well. Because obviously, a lot of people can go out there and say, I think he's 100% clear, but to hear that from the team, there was no negative thoughts about that entire situation or no backdoor thoughts, so to speak, is really refreshing. Well, I guess with that being said, we can start wrapping it up. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I think it it really was an eventful conversation. Again, I'm looking at the timer at 1 hour 22 minutes, and I was envisioning this to be around a 45-minute interview. But I guess there was a lot of things to talk about. Uh, thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure. A final thing that you want to say to people that support you, NAVI Junior, whatever, just a message that you want to put out there.
First, thank you again for having me here. It was good to talk with you. I think we talked about really good topics, and I think it's a really good podcast gonna be. And about our supporters, like keep supporting us. We do our best, and we will try to win more games, and we will just try to improve still. And thank you for cheering for us.
Well, folks, make sure you keep following Navi Junior because there is a big chance that a lot of those players, and maybe the coach, who knows, but a lot of those players you might see in Tier 1 one day, and you probably will see a lot of them in Tier 1 one day. So you know what? It's always more fun to be there from day one. So you can wait for that. That's how Counter-Strike usually works. You can wait for them to make it big, and then you go out and you're like, you know what? I saw that player first. I am the one that told everyone this guy's gonna be great. So yeah, if you wanna be that person on Twitter, make sure you go and watch them so you can be that annoying ass guy that pretends that he's created all of those players. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Coolio. It was a great conversation. I really like the fact that we finally clarified that Bulgarians and Hungarians don't speak the same language and are not from the same country, and we are from two different cultures. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. Of course, Coolio's socials are going to be down below, but the most important thing is to follow Navi Junior, and then you're going to be following his career indirectly. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know who you want to see on the show for the next episode. It could be a player, it could be a coach, it could be an analyst, it could be another broadcast talent as you saw with the last couple ones. And in case you haven't checked out the episodes that we did with Tech Girl, with Sam, and with Anders, make sure you go and do that as well. Thank you very much for being with us. We're clocking out. Peace, and I'll see you soon again. Bye bye.
Bye.